Hello, beautiful souls. Happy Mystical Monday. I hope everybody's doing super well today. So, we are now in the next, which is now the current energetic phase. If you guys have been following my videos week on week, then you'll know that we are now in the next energetic phase, the phase that I've been talking about for the last couple of months. You guys are probably sick of hearing it. This new phase that we're now in was brought about, was sort of officially heralded in by last week's, no, this week's, no, yes, last week's. I'm losing track of time. Last Tuesday was a super full moon in Scorpio, and that, as I say, heralded in the official beginning of this new phase, which is more action orientated. So there's things actually starting to move forward in the physical reality now. Also on the same day, Pluto went into retrograde. So if you want to know what energy that's bringing, it's going to be in retrograde until October, around the 2nd to the 6th ish. Energy never sort of starts and stops in a clean cut sort of way, so it's going to kind of phase out very gradually. But I have made a video about that. We did a reading to see what kind of energy Pluto being in retrograde was going to bring, so do check out that video if you haven't seen it already. Worth also having a look at the full moon in Scorpio reading as well if you haven't seen that, because there was a lot of useful information in regards to this next phase, or this now current phase that we're in. We're going to be in this phase until around October, so when Pluto goes out of retrograde and goes direct again, then in October, that will be the end of this current phase and the beginning of the next one, which, we're 6 months away. So at the moment, I personally don't have any information about the next phase that's going to follow. Obviously, we'll investigate that as we go. So for this Mystical Monday reading, we're going to be looking at past, present and future energies for the collective, of course. I would say for this week, I mean, we check in on the energies every week, but I have noticed, and I know I've said this a lot, that the way that I read has changed, because since the Great Conjunction in December 2020, energy shifted and changed completely. So now I read differently. So rather than looking at the energies for like the week ahead, we just kind of check in every Monday and see what's going on. So now I'm starting to do this kind of past, present, future sort of structure, because I'm finding that that helps to draw out certain pieces of information that hopefully are useful for the collective. So let's have a look at past energy then. So this could be yesterday, last week, last month. This could go any point in the past, really. So just take the messages as they resonate. If they don't resonate, then they're not for you. So we've got iceberg submerged, right? We have been in a very still state. The energetic phase that we've just left began with the Great Conjunction in December of last year and brought us through to, last week, which was a very introspective phase. The Great Conjunction happened. The Great Conjunction was a conjunction between Saturn and Jupiter. Do go and have a look, on Google or whatever, and do a little bit of research on that if you're interested in that, because it heralded in the official beginning of the age of Aquarius, which is going to last us for the next 2300 years, you know. And this energy is definitely affecting us for the rest of our natural born lives, you know, in the current lives that we're in. Obviously none of us are going to live to be 2,500 years old. So, you know, for many of you watching this, you remember the old ways, you know, unless you were born December, right? So this is a very significant time, a very significant life, for us all to have been born in the old energy and to experience the shift into the new energy, which is going to just change so many things. It's going to change the structure of this reality as we've known it. So do go and you know, have a look into that if you're interested in this kind of stuff. But as a summary, that's basically what's happened, and is continuing to happen. So on the same day, that was on the 21st of December, on the same day, we experienced the winter solstice. So I feel that this is what this is speaking to. You know, this is referring to the previous energetic phase that began with the winter solstice, that began with the Great Conjunction. The winter season, you know, it pushes us into introspection anyway. Things within the physical reality slow down, and we move into this kind of iceberg energy, you know, where things are frozen, things aren't really moving forward. But they're not going backwards either. They're just kind of sitting still, awaiting the next phase where that energy kind of thaws and then begins to move forward again. So excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm really raspy today. I've been drinking lots of tea, but it's not helping. So this is definitely referring to the previous energetic phase, where we were all in quiet introspection. Things in the physical reality weren't really moving forward. And we've also got the Lady of the Gift. This is another winter card. Generosity, receiving and withholding. So we're being shown here that this time was very important for us to establish balance within ourselves. The physical reality is a reflection of within. So therefore, once we found balance within ourselves, we were finding balance within the physical reality. We were learning when to be generous, when to receive, and when to withhold. So very beautiful balance there. Very much divine feminine energy, obviously being the Lady of the Gift. I mean, obviously the divine masculine energy still needs to find balance in his own way. But where the divine feminine energy needs to find balance is usually within interaction with others. In, you know, lots of divine feminines, or those who reside within divine feminine energy, tend to struggle with finding balance between giving time and energy to themselves and then giving time and energy to other people. This is usually where divine feminines lose their balance. So obviously we all hold divine masculine and divine feminine energy within ourselves. It's very important to not only find balance within those two energies, but find balance between those two energies as well. So there's all of these different little things that we've been working on, or we've you know, things have gone into stasis so that we can work on these things, whether we're conscious of them or not. So we're seeing here that part of the purpose of the previous energetic phase was to help us to rebalance our divine feminine, in learning how much to give, how much to keep back for ourselves, hence the withholding, and how much to take or to receive. So that's a very important, very important lesson that many of us Still need to learn, have learned, are learning. We definitely need to find balance, you know, within this area, for us to be able to manifest within the physical reality, you know, proficiently. So let's see what else. Wrong deck. Let's try this one. Okay, we've got portal. Doors are opening. You decide. Rewards. Wild card. Okay, so this is pointing out, you know, the new energy, right? The doors are opening, the portal, stepping through the portal. Interestingly, this is a divine feminine depicted here rather than a masculine. So the divine feminine energy certainly received a level up. I'm not saying the divine masculine energy didn't, but Spirit is seeing fit to point this out rather than the other right now. There's a lot of divine feminine energy here, that we're having our focus brought to. Their doors are opening, you decide, right? I feel that this is what the feminine energy here, like why we're being shown feminine energy rather than masculine energy. The you decide. The divine feminine energy is the as above, and the masculine energy is and so below. The feminine energy is and so within, and the masculine energy is and so without. Masculine energy is rooted within the physical reality. His job is to bring about the desires of the feminine into the physical reality. Obviously, I'm not talking about, well, I suppose in a way I am talking about people individually, you know, a masculine and a feminine. But this is the energy, more so what I'm talking about is the energy within oneself. So the feminine energy within yourself comes up with the ideas and the desires, and the masculine energy within yourself is the one that brings that desire into the physical reality. These are the two roles, and this is just how it works. I mean, if you think about it, we've seen this manifested outside of ourselves throughout society, not so much modern day society, but certainly in the past, where the feminine would stay at home and raise the children and run the household. Her desires, she would tell her husband, her masculine, and he would do the work and bring in the money and be the provider. So, you know, the energies have worked themselves out into the physical reality throughout, you know, mankind's history. Obviously, this is now taking a different shape. People are more reuniting the masculine and feminine energies within themselves, more so than people used to. You know, people are becoming more spiritually aware and energetically aware. If you're interested in learning more about divine masculine and feminine energy, then do check out the Twin Flame Tuesday readings. Obviously there will be a Twin Flame Tuesday reading tomorrow, but you know, we look at heart space, mental space and physical space within the Twin Flame Collective referring to the divine feminine and the divine masculine energy. Which I read that as the energy within oneself, but obviously the physical reality is a reflection of what goes on within. So whatever's going on within, you'll see it manifested in the physical reality, aka the twin flame partnership and union and such. So worth checking out those readings if you haven't already. Lots of useful information there when it comes to balancing your own divine masculine and divine feminine. Anyway, so we are seeing here that over the last energetic phase, I mean, like I say, I like to keep these readings nice and open, so we could be looking at the past being yesterday, an hour ago, a month ago, a year ago, 10 years ago, right? But very clearly, this is referring to the past energetic phase, with the appearance of the iceberg card there. So we're seeing that since December through to about a week ago, this phase has brought us a portal for our divine feminine energy to level up, for the you decide, right? Like I say, the feminine, her job is to dream the dream, and the masculine energy's job is to bring it about in the physical reality. So there's a lot of desires have shifted and changed. Things that you wanted for a majority of your life, you now either don't want those things anymore, you want different things now, or those desires have kind of morphed into something a little bit different. So perhaps you wanted to emigrate, and you wanted to live in a particular country, and you saw it in your mind's eye being a certain way. Perhaps now, if you've been working with these energies over the past 4 or 5 months, then perhaps you still want to emigrate and you still want to live in that chosen country, but you view it, your idea of it is now changed into something a bit different. What else? We've also found this balance, as I say, the divine feminine energy. This is all just so divine feminine, right? The masculine energy, I'm sure there was lots for the masculine to learn as well, but for some reason Spirit only sees fit right now to be talking about the feminine energies. Interesting. Let's draw one more card for our past spread, and then we'll move on to the present. If we're going to get a card here. Okay, we've got karma. Okay, this is the 5th element of spirit represented here. All very similar colours as well, actually, I'm noticing. Let's put this here. All very similar colours. We're all very blue, right? This is kind of referring to winter solstice, winter time. I feel, I get this very wintry sort of feel from this spread. So karma, yeah, there's been a lot of release, a lot of purge, and a lot of rebalancing going on. Karma is the way we refer to the universe kind of balancing itself out, right? What you put out is what you receive, kind of thing. What you sow is what you reap, like you reap what you sow, that kind of thing. So yeah, there's been a lot of, this is speaking to balance again. We've been finding balance within our divine feminine. The feminine energy as well is the one that's most prone, I suppose, out of those two energies to hold on to the past, because the feminine is the dreamer. She's the one who creates. She's the creator, or she's the metaphysical creator. Obviously the masculine is the physical creator, but the feminine energy, she's quite dreamy. She's the one who delves into like whimsy, and wouldn't it be fun if I could do these things, and she's the one that dreams the dream, right? So she's, because of that, more prone to hold on to the past. She has these beautiful ideas and dreams, and should they not work out, then she tends to cling to that. That's just one of the flaws of the divine feminine energy. The masculine has similar flaws himself, but this is just things for us to work on, isn't it? Within ourselves, not to hold on to the past, to release it as we move through our timeline. So this introspective phase that we've experienced has been really helping us to let go of the past, to catch up on our own karma, to be still and not really create any new karma, so we have a blank slate to move into this next energetic phase, which we're now currently in. As I keep saying, it's more action orientated. So with a blank karmic slate, means we can dream and manifest at will, and there's nothing in between holding us back. There's no past holding us back. There's no past dictating what we desire. The feminine energy has really learned during this phase just completely to let go, you know. Just completely let go of the things that she used to want, the things that she's been trying to get, you know, all this time, and it just hasn't come off. The reason it hasn't come off is because there's been karma in the way. Now there isn't. So interesting, right? I mean, definitely shed some light on the last 4 or 5 months, doesn't it? As to why we've been thinking the things that we have, and why our ideas and ideals have changed. Many of you who wanted certain things, now you just want different things. And you found it a lot easier to accept that as well, and not dwell on, yeah, but I used to want that and I worked really hard for it and I still didn't get it, so if I give up now, then I'm giving up, right? A lot of you have given up on that idea, right? You've just sort of like, yeah, it didn't work out, whatever, right, I'll just start again, you know, no biggie. And this right here is evidence of the divine feminine within you having healed. You know that she hasn't healed if she's clinging to the past and perhaps, you know, continuing to flog a dead horse. So let's have a look at present energies then. What's going on presently? Oh my goodness, I can't shuffle today. Beautiful. Look at this. Optimism, beautiful Leo energy, radiant summer solstice. Excellent. I've just noticed the sun is really creeping up. Hopefully we can finish the reading before it covers our space here. So yes, like I say, beautiful Leo energy, lots of unbridled optimism, feeling very social, just ready and raring to go, really. We're all ready for the summer. We feel like we just want to get outside and enjoy that beautiful sunshine. And we're also bringing that sunshine type energy in, like within ourselves. Lots of ideas, very fiery. By fiery energy, I mean ideas, transmutation, new. It's new ideas. It's not really the right word, and I can't think of the right one. New dreams are being born, right? New ambitions. That, I think that's probably the word I'm looking for. This energy is very ambitious. We're feeling like we're so ready to move out of this energy. And I feel, to be honest, that we're kind of between this right now, because we're only a week into this new phase. The weather's only just getting warmer. You know, I mean, I'm here in the UK and it's been really fucking cold for ages, and it's only just starting to get summery enough to not wear a hoodie outside, you know. Obviously, it depends on where you are in the world, but either way, any way that you want to look at it, we're moving into summer. You know, now we're in spring. Now we're moving into summer. So we've like I say, we're only a week into this energy now, so I feel like we're kind of wavering between the two at the moment, but we've got more, we're like mid-step, you know, between these two. Um, so yeah, it feels very very positive, very optimistic. Um, we're just ready, right? We're ready to come out of our little cocoon, and start applying what we've learned to the physical reality. Um, we're ready to manifest within the physical reality. We're ready to be more social, um, and to just move things forward. You know, there's just so many ideas, there's always ambition. Um, everyone's just so full of creativity, and you've all had these beautiful ideas and you just can't wait to get going on them. um, so much unbridled ambition. It's beautiful, really beautiful. So let's see what else we've got here. Okay, interesting. Right, we've got the Shadow Queen. Acquiring knowledge, insecurity, and manipulation. There's another divine feminine energy there. Right, so despite everything that I've just said, despite this Leo energy, we've got some shadow. Right. The way I'm seeing this is what we need to learn, right? This is what we need to learn right now. The Lady of the Gift here in this phase was what we needed to learn, was like a lesson that we needed to get on board with. I feel that this is a lesson we need to get on board with. So the Divine Feminine energy isn't done yet. She's still got things to learn. Acquiring knowledge, insecurity, manipulation. I feel that the feminine is still learning how to let go, and it's almost like overshadowing the sun in a way. So the way I'm seeing it is that some days the divine feminine energy gets doubtful of the things that she wants. She's wavering on like her new desires because she's had these old desires from the past. She's had them for so long that some, like, she finds safety in it, you know, because it's like a habit, you know. She kind of defined herself by these desires, whether they were manifested or not. It's like, I've always wanted this thing, and I've always wanted to do this thing, I've always wanted to be this thing. And now, over the last 4 or 5 months, she's changed her mind and now she wants different things. She's only had that new desire for a handful of months, whereas the previous desire she had for years. So she feels so optimistic about it, the new desire, but sometimes I feel that she is like, she wavers on it because she's not, she hasn't had that desire for long enough for it to become a part of her. So when she's shedding this previous desire, she feels like she's shedding a part of herself. And for the feminine, this is a difficult task, um, because the feminine is maternal. You know, she forms very deep bonds. Um, Again, I'm not talking about like women, I'm talking about the divine feminine energy that resides within all of us. So when you feel a bit doubtful, when you are exhibiting symptoms of what I've just described, that is the divine feminine energy within you. So I feel that what's being suggested here is that, especially as I said, we've got kind of 1 foot in and 1 foot out. We're between these energies right now. Should you feel this way, the way I've just described, to go back in your mind and within your energy to the previous five or so months, and look at this lady of the gift, the generosity, the the receiving and the withholding, and rebalance the divine feminine within you, and that will kind of quell that that trepidation, right? So yeah, there is still shadow within the divine feminine. That's okay. It's part of the process, right? We're, if we have nothing left to learn, then we die. That's how this works. We only stay here on Earth and within these earthly lives whilst we have things to learn. Once everything's been learned, it's our time to go back to source energy. So welcome the lessons, embrace them, learn them to the highest degree. Try your best to be acutely aware of them. Right, as I shuffle, this card flew out, and this echoes exactly what I just said. Longing for home, homesick for the stars, right? Don't ever start to feel that you want the lessons to be over, because when the lessons are over, your life is over. That doesn't mean you can't reincarnate and come back and kind of start again. Well, it wouldn't be starting again, it would be continuing, but you'd be starting again as a human, right? But I feel that what Spirit is saying here, a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but what Spirit is pointing out is that you want the lessons. And to continue your healing and your learning and your leveling up and becoming the best version of yourself and all that stuff, you need to keep the lessons coming. It's a little bit like... it's kind of like, well, it's a bad example, but I've just been shown like learning another language. Aurora's like, if you're learning another language, it's a new language to you. It's not a language that you were raised with. And perhaps you learn a language in school, right? And then you leave school and you don't use the language anymore. Then you forget it. You start to forget it and you're not fluent anymore. But no offense, Aurora, but this is a bad example, but I hope that makes sense to some of you, where like if you're not learning the lessons anymore, then the things that you learned become lost, right? So the things that you have learned, you need to keep using that knowledge. When there's no need to be using that knowledge anymore, then there's no need to be alive anymore. So or certainly in this particular lifetime. Like I said, it doesn't mean you can't come back, because reincarnation is absolutely a thing. But I feel that what Spirit is saying here is, when you feel this shadow queen sort of energy, despite the this lovely, ambitious, creative, fiery kind of energy that's going on right now, the shadow's going to step in, and you might feel like that's kind of shitting on your parade a little bit, where you woke up yesterday morning and you were like, right, yeah, come on, let's go, I love my life, and then the following day you wake up and you're like, oh god, is this really what I want? And you start moving into like doubt and stuff. Don't let that ruin your day, right? Just do the work, because that's what it's there for. It's a little nudge and a reminder that what you're striving for really, ultimately, is to be the best version of yourself. And if these reminders weren't, and these nudges weren't happening, then you would be ready for death. You would be ready for the end of this life so that you could begin a new one. So welcome these uncomfortable moments. Now I understand. This is what Spirit wants us to do. She's really showing me right now that this is going to keep happening. We're going to keep toing and froing between, you know, the shadow energy and sunshine energy. Sunshine, shadow, then back to sunshine, then back to shadow, then back to sunshine, then back to shadow. It's going to keep going back and forth until the shadow has been dispersed. Because there is an end to this, right? When we've done the work. Once we've done the work, the shadow won't be there anymore. So we're being shown here that it's necessary, and it should make us feel more alive, right? When we receive these lessons, because it's the purpose of being alive. So let's... Whoa! Christ, I just threw that on the floor. I was going to say, let's pull one more card, and then the whole deck just flew away from me. Where'd you go? Oh, look at that. Right, we've got a water card, healing. Okay, so that's what this is all in aid of. It's for our healing. So let's have a look at future energy. Hopefully we can fit it in, because the sun is really moving very quickly. Okay, let's have a look. Yes, future energy then. Beautiful. We've got forest breath. So not only are we being urged to move ourselves literally outside and into nature, but we're also moving into this kind of growth energy. This is kind of multifaceted in that right, what I'm being shown is that we can sit in a forest and we can be very, very still, and the forest is still growing around us. And I feel that this is the attitude that we need to have now that we're in this new energetic phase that is taking place more in the physical reality. We, within ourselves, need to be very still and allow the physical reality to just grow up around us without any physical input from us, only energetic input. So imagine yourself sitting in the lotus position in the middle of a beautifully abundant forest in the summer, and you are meditating, and you are meditating on your desires, and the forest is just blooming around you. This is the attitude that we must have when it comes to our physical reality. We need to move through our lives over the summer months being very still within ourselves, holding that desire like a beacon within our heart space, and just allowing the forest that is our physical reality to just bloom and grow without us forcing it. You know, you don't sit in a forest and start screaming at a tree to grow. You know, it does it by itself, and it can take care of itself. This is how we need to view our physical reality. It doesn't need any physical input from us. You know, in much the same way like a wild forest, it just grows by itself. It doesn't need any input. It doesn't need a trellis and string you know, to tie a flower to it or to a plant through it to help it to grow up nice and tall. It will do that by itself, right? So we need to view our physical realities in very much the same way. Your physical reality is a forest. It's a wild forest. It takes care of itself. It will grow up in exactly the way that you want it to. It will bring you beauty and satisfaction and peace, but you mustn't mess with it. Your job is to sit in the middle of it and meditate. So I hope that makes sense. It's not to be taken literally. Well, I suppose in a way it is. You literally go off out and sit in a forest and meditate to help you to cultivate that mindset if needs be. But this is the attitude that we need to have. So let's see what lesson. What's the lesson for future energy? Okay, we've got the Lady of Lightning. Surprises, sometimes shock, total paradigm shift. Okay, we need to be very aware. There's lots of green, lots of blue. We've got multicolours going on here. That's because there's 2 or 3 things happening, I think. And here we've got green. This card looks blue on camera, I've just noticed, but it's not. It's a very, very dark green. Okay, we're being shown here that... Okay, I'm going to use this forest analogy again because it's working quite well. The forest is wild. So no 2 forests look the same. Everything is growing in its own way, but ultimately it creates a forest. It's not like a garden where we dictate where plants grow and how they grow and what shape they grow into, what colour they grow. A wild forest is left to it and it becomes a forest, right? So you could say your desire is, I want to grow a forest. It's going to grow in its own way. My point being that we need to leave the physical reality to grow in its own way. So when we see here this surprises, sometimes shock, total paradigm shift, again another feminine I've just noticed as well, right? Okay, yeah, this makes sense to me, right? So the divine feminine will have the idea, I want to grow a forest. Meaning I want my physical reality to become a particular way or become a particular thing. The divine feminine energy needs to let go of how it comes about and very specifically what it looks like and how it grows, right? Because if she is going to begin to dictate how that forest grows, it's not a forest anymore, it's now a garden, and it's going to be very linear and not this wild and free. I really hope that you guys know what I'm trying to say here, because I'm receiving this information as a feeling and I'm struggling to articulate myself. The physical reality needs to be left be to grow as it will. So the desire can be there, the desire being I want to grow a forest, right, for example, but the physical reality needs to grow it in its own way. The end result is always going to be the same. You're always going to get a forest. But you need to let it do its own thing, which is why we're seeing this surprise, shock, paradigm shift. The feminine needs to prepare, or the divine feminine energy needs to prepare herself for the physical reality to be free. She needs to prepare herself for unforeseen elements of this growth, and she needs to not pin it down to this is the forest I want to grow, and this is exactly what it's going to look like. There's going to be a tree there, and there's going to be a plant there, and there's going to be a path there, and there's going to be, you know, once you get yourself into that kind of mindset, you start to strangle spirit, and spirit finds it extremely difficult to manifest. You think of it as like delegation, right? You say to spirit, I want this. I don't care how it gets done, I don't care how it comes about, and I don't care ultimately what it looks like, but this is what I want. And this is what I want the end result to be. I want it to be a forest. I want to live in this country. I want a career in this thing. I want a partner who loves me. I want a family. I want a house in this location, right? Once you start saying, I want a house in this location, it has to have this amount of bedrooms, and every blade of grass looks like this outside, and the path is specifically gravel, and there's a tarmac driveway, but the paths around it are gravel, and you know, you get really, really specific about it. You start to tie spirit's hands behind its back, and you won't receive as quickly. You also can't say, I'm going to get these things through these particular means, because again, you prevent spirit from bringing what you want in any other way. So this is why we're seeing the feminine here surprised and shocked, right? Because spirit is saying here that for the future, the divine feminine energy just needs to basically chill the fuck out and just let the forest grow as it will, and just sit in the middle of it and hold the desire and hold that energy and be that energy, and spirit will deliver. And the shock and the surprise and the paradigm shift that we're seeing here as well is that the feminine energy, once she just relaxes, she will be super surprised at how fast she receives. So that was a very long-winded way of me explaining all of that stuff, but I hope that makes sense. I just really wanted to make sure that you guys get my point, you know, and understand the message. It's so important that we just relax and let the forest grow. Okay, we have perspective. None of this matters. Zoom out. Common ground. Okay, so we're being urged here to focus on the end result. Again, this is echoing everything I've just said. So not looking too hard at the details, and not looking at the way in which things come about. It's even like not looking at now. It's just saying focused on the end result, and then being open to everything else. So maybe it will help, you know, to write down the things that you desire. I desire love, right? It doesn't matter how that love comes to you and from who, as long as you experience the feeling of love, yes? So we need to kind of look at our desires and then ask ourselves, what picture have I painted to go with this desire? Is it too linear? Is it strangling spirit? Is it open to allow spirit to just grow me a beautiful forest? Or am I being too overbearing about my desire? So start writing some stuff down, you know, start making like a little list of your desires and really look at the root of them. Oh. Yeah, divine feminine, as if we didn't already get the message, right? This reading is really looking at divine feminine energy, despite it being a Mystical Monday reading and it just a regular reading, you know, past, present, future. The divine feminine energy really needs to, yes, surrender. That's the word I was looking for, and I just turned the deck around in my hand, and there it was. The divine feminine energy needs to surrender. So I'll say it again, you know, if you haven't been checking out the Twin Flame Tuesday readings every Tuesday, go and have a look at them. Go and watch like the previous 2 weeks worth, because that will give you a really good idea as to where we've been and therefore where we're headed. It's a lot easier to plot the future energy when we can plot the past energy. So obviously each week we do a twin flame collective check-in, and it's really helping to build a picture of what the feminine and masculine energies are doing and why they're doing it and where they're headed. The feminine energy, through those readings, through the Twin Flame Tuesday readings, we have managed to decipher what obviously each energy is doing, as I say. But the divine feminine energy, let's put it this way: this reading is absolutely in alignment with last Tuesday's reading. So obviously there'll be, tomorrow's Tuesday, so there'll be a new twin flame reading tomorrow, but do go and have a look at those readings if you haven't, because it's there's a lot of very useful information there. The divine feminine energy, as we can see here, is she's on a learning curve for sure. Now that we're in a more action orientated energy, and also the divine masculine collective is leading the feminine collective rather than the other way around. It's always been the other way around. For our whole lives, it's been the other way around. For the last 2,000 years, the feminines have been leading the masculines. Now, the age of Aquarius, the masculines are leading the feminines for the next 2,000 odd years. So the Great Conjunction, you know, brought about some very, very powerful changes, and that's one of them, that the feminine and masculine collectives did a little switcheroo. So the feminine energy is struggling at the moment to surrender because she's so used to leading. She's so used to being to like dictating what the physical reality will look like, and she really needs to learn here, which we can see that the feminine energy really needs to learn to let go of the past, to just relax and let her masculine energy just manifest it for her. Let spirit manifest it for her. She doesn't need to do or like go about things the way that she has always known. So the feminine energy is like hardcore learning a set of lessons right now. So we're going to wrap this up with an affirmation card. Okay. Amazing. We've got open-mindedness. I cultivate and maintain an open mind that is ready and willing to be pleasantly surprised. The Lady of Lightning. Rather than write off new ideas, I stop assuming they won't work. Rather than write off new associates, I stop assuming I won't like them. Instead, I dare them all to prove me wrong. What a pleasure it will be to lose that bet. And if it turns out my negative instinct was right, well, told you so. So, yeah, the feminine needs to surrender, right? She needs to be more open-minded. So, I hope that this reading guides you well, everybody. And that you have a wonderful week. Remember that you are loved, you are appreciated, and I will see you guys in the next one.